Hey everyone, this is Jen and you are watching BPD Woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. There are a few new subscribers and I'd like to say thank you and welcome. I really appreciate you checking us out and your comments are awesome. I really enjoy seeing and reading them. They really help me learn more about borderline and give me ideas that I might not have thought of. So thank you. On this channel, you will learn how to live effectively with borderline personality disorder. My goal is to help those with borderline learn about their emotions, about why they feel the way they do, to utilize skills to live more effectively, including DBT, the modality that was designed to help those of us with borderline personality disorder. And you will also be encouraged to meet your goals in life and whatever they may be to achieve a life worth living. If that sounds good, then please hit the subscribe button below and click the bell so that you'll never miss a beat. I produce several videos a week, anywhere from 3 to 5, sometimes more. So if that sounds good, click below and let's get going. My channel is primarily aimed at those of us that have borderline personality disorder. I was diagnosed myself about 20 years ago, and I have lived with it since then, learning how to manage myself, my life, my emotions by engaging in DBT, doing several workbooks, reading every book and then rereading every book, looking at the literature. Suffice to say, I consider myself somewhat of an expert, and although I am not a PhD or a therapist or a clinician, I can answer one question that none of those, well, at least most of those folks cannot, which is, what is it like to live with borderline personality disorder? So today we are just about through our, I'm going to look at some notes, our mindfulness module. We have been discussing all of the different DBT skills, and we are still in our mindfulness module. Again, DBT, Dialectical Behavior Therapy, which essentially means being able to see both sides of a situation and interpretation of events, which is why, so that those of us that tend to think in black or white terms can learn to see more in the gray. There are 4 main components to DBT, or what they call modules, and in each module, in a classroom setting, you will get homework and skills training. Each module is about 6 to 8 weeks long, and they are the following: mindfulness, emotional regulation, interpersonal effectiveness, and distress tolerance. They are in order for a reason. Today, we are talking about being effective. All right, so mindfulness module of DBT training, talking about the skill, be effective. I am reading this description from a DBT app. I'll put a screenshot up here so you can take a look at what the app looks like. Highly recommended. It's a pay app, $10 for life, and you will be able to log feelings, get skill descriptions, make notes, amend it. I can't recommend it enough. $10 for life. So let's read the description of the be effectiveness. Being mindful is about being effective as possible. Do what works in your given situation. Let go of the way things should be, and just do what works for your goal. Play by the rules, even if they are not the right rules or the ones that you agree with. When thinking about how to be effective, it's important to keep in mind all of the things that make it hard for you to be mindful or wise. So wise mind. Emotion, physiological states, other people, etc. can all make it hard to be effective. Anticipate those obstacles and plan ahead to give yourself the best chance at success. Love this. This is another great one that I love in the mindfulness module. So let's discuss first, why is it important to do DBT, and why is it important primarily to talk about the be effective skill? Well, if you are interested in taming your borderline personality disorder, or seeing your symptoms go in remission and leading a more effective life. That's a very common word you'll hear in the BPD realm, and especially in DBT. Then they really focus on effective behaviors, effective thinking, acting out in an effective manner. You'll notice that I don't say good, bad, and you'll notice that primarily you won't hear words like good, bad, never, always in DBT settings or clinician settings, because they are judgmental words, and that's a different discussion. But we don't say bad or good because it's loaded, right? What's bad to you could be good to someone else. What's good to you could be bad to someone else. So we say effective. Effective is personalized to you. So if you are interested in achieving your goals, then being effective is the way to go. And I think that's true of anyone obtaining any goal, not just those of us with borderline. So oftentimes, with borderlines, one of the hallmarks, one of the DSM criterion is a tendency to think in black or white terms, or known what is splitting, no, not disassociation or paranoia, although stress-induced paranoia and dissociation can occur in those with borderline. In fact, I think that description was added to the DSM-5. However, what we are talking about is seeing someone as all good or all bad, and that it is hard to think of them as good and bad when we are in one of the opposite mainframes. So if you're really in love with someone and things are going really great, they're good, right? They're awesome. You're happy. But if you have an argument, right, or they forget to take out the garbage, or they don't pick up the dog shit in the yard, or whatever the case may be, you go into, oh my God, like, this person sucks. Like, how could they be so thoughtless? Like, how could they forget? They don't love me. Like, I'm going to have to rethink the situation. That's the extreme thinking, right? And the goal is to get in the middle and say, I really love this person and they're awesome, but sometimes they really annoy me by not picking up the shit. Now, that can be hard for those of us with borderline personality disorders, because while we have black and white thinking, that's also paired with impulsiveness and emotional lability, fluctuating emotions. And it's hard for us, like our emotions start getting away from us. And so we try to rein them in. And it's hard to think, boom, in the moment, in the gray, apply all the skills right there and then within a 10-second period. That can be very difficult. When you are trying to attempt a skill or a behavior, or, solve a problem or be in a situation by being effectively, you are thinking, one, in the gray, and two, you're thinking about your ultimate goal. Detaching yourselves from what's right, wrong, should be this way, should be that way. If you're a black and white thinker and someone cuts you off in traffic and you're prone to anger, like me, traffic's a big trigger for me, I'll honk at you. Like, I will, if you cut me off and you endanger my safety, how dare you endanger my safety? I'll honk at you. Maybe I'll follow you for a couple of blocks, and I'll flash my lights, and, I'll, just be a jerk. But then I forget, in the midst of all that anger and all of that acting out in immediacy, that I'm late for an appointment now because I decided to do that, right? I didn't, it's your anger or your emotion, it's like a half a millisecond. You are feeling something before you even know what's going on. It's that quick. So that tends to go out the window sometimes when you're in a very dysregulated state. And sometimes driving for me can put me in a pretty dysregulated state if people are not being nice out in traffic. So if I act on that and that makes me late for an appointment, or, late to a job or a meeting or walking the dog, in the end, did I accomplish my goal of getting to that appointment on time, walking my dog when I wanted to, meeting up with a friend at the movies at the time the movie was supposed to start. No, I haven't. And, then there's this feeling of shame, like, well, I really want to accomplish this, but I got so tied up in my emotions and it happened so fast that, gosh, there's this feeling of being out of control of your BPD, and it can be really demoralizing. So when you are thinking of your goal, and I'll do this each day, I will look at my calendar for the day. What do I want to get done? What's important to me? Where do I want my energy to go? That's a really good question. I shouldn't say good. That's a really effective question that I ask myself. Where do I want my energy to go today? And I know that if I get into a crying spell, or I know if I get into some road rage altercation, and I know that if, I have an argument with a friend, I'm going to be dysregulated. It's going to sap my energy. I'm going to feel sad. I'll probably get a headache. And then I'm going to have to recoup, and it's going to take me a while to get back down to baseline. And now 3/4 of my day is gone. And then that's just going to create another shame cycle. So when you are thinking about being effective as possible, you are simply thinking about your end game, what your end game is. Let's talk about an example. Okay, the traffic one is a good one, but let's talk about another example. So let's talk about, okay, I have one. So I have a client, and as some of you know, I run my own business. I have a client and I invoice each week, and sometimes some clients will tip me. Never expected. It's not, I set my prices based on what I would like to make and what is a fair price to me, and I send them out each week. And I've had one client, and she's a friend, and consistently for weeks and months now, she will tip me $20, $30, and I never expect it, but I'm always super grateful and happy that she does it. Now, this friend of mine also has some of her own issues, as we all do, and one of those is compulsive shopping and an inability to kind of manage her finances. And this is from her mouth, something I've observed, but I don't think that she would deny this. Almost every time when I go to her house, there's 2 to 3 Amazon packages at the front door. Recently, when I invoiced, she sent me the usual amount of money that was correct of her to send, that was actually owed. And it's not cheap, it's anywhere from $100 to $150 a week is what she spends to pay me. So she this week sent it, and she texted, hey, I've got some medical bills coming up, and so I've got to stop tipping you for a while. I'm really sorry. I feel really bad. And, inside, I rolled my eyes, right, you gotta curb your spending? Okay. And I felt like saying, a judgment came out of me, a judgment that thought, oh, okay, are you gonna curb your Amazon prices spending? Are you gonna stop going out to lunch every other day? Are you gonna stop getting takeout? I immediately started judging, which is a whole different animal on its own. It's not something that I like to do. It keeps me stuck. It keeps, judging for me, keeps me in this kind of angry hate cycle. Instead, I didn't reply to her text. I was kind of, napping, and I knew that I wasn't in the right frame of mind to reply just then. I didn't get super angry. First of all, I was really tired, so it was kind of hard for me to get very angry. However, I thought, well, let me go on a walk, and I walked. I used my distract skills. I went on a walk. I walked with another neighbor and her dog. We had a really good time. And, when I got back, I thought, okay, and especially in preparing for this video this evening, I thought, what is my ultimate goal? What is my ultimate goal here? Well, my ultimate goal is I would like to retain this person as both a friend and a client. If I reach out and say something snarky like, oh, are you going to curb your spending on lunch? Oh, really? Well, I better not see any Amazon packages beef at your door. Would that ultimately serve my end game of retaining her as a friend and retaining her as a client? No, the answer is no, it would not. It would isolate her. It would put her off. It would make her feel worse. I mean, I know that's how it would make me feel. So instead I used opposite action and I wrote back, hey, first of all, I understand what it's like to feel guilty and want to give extra to others. You're a very giving person, right? So I validated her. And then I said, you have tipped me more consistently and on more times than any other client. For that, I'm very grateful, and it is never expected. Okay, so I tried to reinforce that I didn't want her to feel bad. And then I said, as long as I'm walking the dogs, that's really the main thing for me. I was like, so, I hope that you won't feel too bad for too long. And I sent a little heart emoji right away. She, texted back, thank you. That does make me feel so much better. Boom, done. Now, what if she does continue shopping? Okay, so right there, I feel like I have been effective in obtaining my end game goal, which is I want to keep her as a friend and I want to retain her as a client, right? I don't want to have an argument and then lose anywhere between $400 and $600 a month. That would really F me up financially. So I don't want to do that. So is there a guarantee that she's going to continue to pay me forever and ever and ever? No, there's not. There's nothing that I can do if she decides that she doesn't have the money anymore to have me, service her and take care of her animals. But that's not something that I know right now. But I do know that if I send a judgmental text to her, that probably would end the client relationship and probably put a real damper on the friendship relationship. So, if not end it altogether. So this is the example of being effective. Even though your mind says, here's a judgment I think you should throw out, here's a text I think you should send. You need, or it would behoove you and serve you to use your skills, your stop skills, your opposite action, your distraction skills. Turn off the phone, go on a walk, don't reply right away. I know it's difficult, everyone. I know that it's difficult. And instead, think about what your end game is. And I feel better that I was effective afterwards. I feel masterful. I feel calmer. I don't feel emotionally dysregulated, which I know I would if I had said something nasty to her. So that is the be effective skill. Now we are just about over the mindfulness module. I think I've just about covered all of the core mindfulness skills that you'll find in DBT. I have added some of my own. That's the cool thing about this app. You can edit and add in your own as you see fit, your own skills. And so the next video will wrap up. The next time I do one of these DBT skill mindfulness videos, I will wrap up the series kind of hitting some of the other skills that I've used that have been helpful, and maybe they'll be helpful to you as well. This has been BPD Woman. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time. Thank y'all and be well. Bye.